CRL World Finals is just around the corner, so it's time to take a look at the top 16 players and the matchups they have waiting for them. Hi, I'm richslaton, caster for Clash Royale League, and today we're looking at the first two matches, first four players of Clash Royale League 2023 World Finals. We're doing this because in the double elimination bracket format that we have, each of our pairs of matches, first and second, third and fourth, fifth and sixth, and seventh and eighth, end up being kind of mini groups the way they work out, because the winner of match one will play the winner of match two in the second round, and the loser of match one plays the loser of match two in the first round of the lower bracket. And the same thing happens for all four of those pairs of matches. So let's kick things off with this video, our first two matchups, Mohamed Light and Airsurfer, and higher Faust, in what I'm going to call Group A, even though they're not really groups for this World Finals. Let's look at match number one. Mohamed Light and Airsurfer. Now, Mohamed Light shouldn't need any introduction if you've watched Clash Royale competitive in any format. You've seen him win a whole lot. He's the defending world champion. He got second the year before that. He broke every single record. He has first place in just about everything. He is the GOAT, no questions asked. But that doesn't mean that we write off his opponent immediately. Airsurfer is one of the most dangerous people in this competition. He gets overlooked because he's a little bit more quiet, because maybe his first three seasons in CRL he spent on teams that were somewhat dysfunctional, but he's been a world finalist now 3 times in a row in 21, 22, and 23, coming in top 6 last year. He's the guy who broke the global tournament, and he has an exceptionally deep deck pool. Known as a cycle player, but really Airsurfer plays a little bit of everything, and he has positive win rates with pretty much every win condition he has in CRL this year, except for Graveyard. He's a phenomenal player, and while I do give Mohamed Light the edge here, it's only about a 60-40 edge. I think Airsurfer is a very live underdog, and most pros would agree with me on that one. That being said, I do give Mohamed Light the nod here, move him into the upper bracket for round 2, and we'll move Airsurfer down to the lower bracket in round number 1. On the other matchup for this first group, as I'll call it, it's Higher and Faust. And this is a very, very close matchup on paper. And realistically, this is one of the ones I think is the hardest one to call for a number of reasons. If we look at Higher, coming out of the CRCC, coming out of China for their 2 spots, Higher is a phenomenal player who is now making his 4th World Finals appearance after going to World Finals in 2019, 2020, and 2021, which was the first year of solos. He also completely carried his team WEDGM in 2019 and in 2020, being their primary solo player, being their part of their 2v2 duo. He's been great for a long time, and it might have made World Finals last year if China had participated. Either way, he's here this year. The only real question is, what's his skill level like? The level of competition, according to most pros in China right now, is just not the same as the level at the rest of the world, and that makes sense. There's a few elite players in every country, and when you're limited to one country, it's hard to find that elite. So Higher is kind of an unknown. What we do know is he tends to play a little heavier with his decks, even running heavier versions of most cycle decks, often not even putting a spirit in some of his cycle decks. So Higher's a bit of a wild card here, and his opponent is also a bit of a wild card. Faust, a guy who for a long time was viewed as the next big thing out of Germany in Clash Royale, but it never quite worked out for him in Clash Royale teams, despite him being rumored to be a part of many different squads as time went on. He didn't make it to World Finals last year, got close, didn't make it to World Finals the year before. But here we are in 2023, and Faust made to World Finals by being really, really consistent, both in his performance on the front end and kind of his missteps on the back end. He was the number 1 points qualifier overall in CRL this year, making it to 4 monthly finals, which is a tremendous task. But at those monthly finals, he got first rounded twice, got second rounded once, and his best performance was top 3, which is all still phenomenal, but it does raise the question of how good he is against the overall elite competition. He did get some live stage experience this year when he went and won the BESF Cup in Belgium. And that should certainly help playing on the live stage at CRL World Finals. But even then, the BESF Cup, he faced more mid-tier competition rather than that S-tier, A-tier level competition. So it does raise questions about him as well. Still, with this one, I have to pick a winner, and as a razor's edge, I'm going to go ahead and lean this one towards Faust, who will then move on to the upper bracket round 2 against Mohamed Light, which then puts Higher down in the lower bracket round 1 against Airsurfer. From this point forward, I think the decisions in our next 2 matches are relatively easy in my opinion. Of course, anything can happen. It is Clash Royale. But in the lower bracket round 1, match number 9, I'm going to pick Airsurfer winning over Higher. And I think if he faces Faust here, he probably also wins that matchup as well. Airsurfer, again, very dangerous. He could beat Mohamed Light in the upper bracket round 1. We saw KK do it last year. But either way, I'm going to take Airsurfer in that lower bracket matchup in match number 9, which will then move him down to match 20, where he'll await the winner, the loser of match 16. More on that in a minute, because these 3 guys who were stuck in the first upper bracket round area with Mohamed Light, they actually have something else that's really brutal for them as well. More on that in a moment. Match number 13, the upper bracket round 2, where Mohamed Light and Faust will meet, according to my predictions. Pretty easy pick for me, Mohamed Light here again, which then would bump Faust down to match 17 into our lower bracket, where he will face the winner of match 12. Now, what is so brutal about Airsurfer and Faust here? Hey, they've made it on, in my opinion, to the lower bracket round 2. Well, it's who they would end up facing in round number 2 that makes things very difficult for them. On the one hand, Faust will face the winner of match 12. Well, what is match 12? Match 12 is the lower bracket matchup between the loser of match 7, either Pedro or Ruben, and the loser of match 8, either Samuel Basoto or Morton. So Faust is going to have to face either Pedro, Ruben, Samuel, or Morton. And the same thing for Airsurfer, because he's going to face the loser of match 16, which match 16, oh yeah, that was the winner from that group, Pedro, Ruben, Sam, or Morton. So either way, no matter what happens with these guys, if you lose either to each other or you lose to Mohamed Light, if you lose at all in the first 2 rounds, you are going to end up facing either Pedro, Ruben, Samuel Basoto, or Morton when you get into lower bracket round 2. This is a really, really difficult route for both of these guys, but they're certainly both more than up to the task. And of course, I almost forgot what happens to Mohamed Light when he beats Faust. Well, he would go on to the upper semifinals to match 23, where he would await the winner of either Mugi, Adriel, Arden, Toas, and Sosa. We'll get to that group in our next video. He'll await the winner of that one. Very likely Mugi, possibly Adriel, who knows? And just by making it, though, to the upper semifinals, just by winning in round 1 and winning in round 2, that would guarantee Mohamed Light a top 6 or better finish, which is a phenomenal place. And of course, not where we expect him to stop, but a good start for what should be a great campaign for Mohamed Light. That's it for this preview video. Hope you enjoyed it. Of course, more previews for the other 3 groups, or the other 6 matches, coming in a later video. Maybe you agree with me, maybe you don't. Let me know if you think I got it right, got it wrong. I think we're all pretty much betting on Mohamed Light to win those first 2 rounds, and maybe win all of them, who knows. The Airsurfer, Higher, Faust part is more challenging and more difficult. But I do look forward to seeing those guys battle it out. And of course, look forward to seeing you at World Finals in Helsinki in just a couple of days. As always, be excellent to each other. Party on, dude.